In the latest episode of One Punch Man, Garo finished his fight with the hero army, ultimately beating them before Genos arrived, and in their battle, Garo begins to awaken his monster form, his god form. This is the first of many transformations that Garo is going to start going through. As he has more battles, he's kind of like a Saiyan in the sense that the more he fights, the closer he gets to death. Like, he gets Zenkai boosts. Like, he literally gets Zenkai boosts, because this is how in the One Punch Man universe, people can turn into incredibly powerful monsters. Basically, this is the way that the Monster King, Orochi, was created. He had so many intense battles, he had so many near-death experiences from those fights that every time he came back stronger and stronger until he eventually transformed into the Monster King.
This video is sponsored by the Amino app, now newly updated with the ability to add engaging stories. Amino stories have a higher production quality than other platforms, centered around your interests and your passions. Amino is all about communities and connecting you with other people so that you can share your interests like anime, art, learning languages, and more. Make sure you go to search and find me, Mastar Media, and check out my stories so you can get some teaser clips of Anime War Episode 12. Links are in the description.
Garo, the one-eyed monster that is a psychic that helps the Monster King, knows that Garo has a ton of potential, and that's why in this episode you actually see the Monster Association come to Garo's rescue, because Garo wants to basically take Garo under his wing in a sense, and he wants to have him transform into the ultimate monster. He thinks that he has more potential than even King Orochi. So we get the first transformation out of Garo. His transformations are somewhat subtle. The first time here you see that he has a red right eye and his hair turns red. It's a very interesting coloration that they chose for him. I'm wondering if that was Yusuke Murata's direction, or if someone at the studio was just like, this is how we're gonna color Garo. He's upgraded a little bit now, and you've seen that even the poison that was inside of him pretty much like has lost its effect. So he definitely gets stronger. He can withstand more pain now, and you're gonna see that in season 3 as he continues to progress and continues to fight tougher and tougher battles. This episode was great. It was, in my opinion, pretty much perfect. They depicted the manga so well in this episode compared to the past episodes of the season. I was a little bit concerned because I knew this was going to be a pure combat episode as Garo took on the hero army and then took on Genos, but they definitely pulled it off. The artwork was fantastic in this episode. It was a great representation of Yusuke Murata's artwork. They used 3 gradients of shading in most cases for Garo. We got some beautiful close-up shots of Garo. I was really impressed with this episode. I think they actually withheld a lot of resources for these final 2 episodes because they knew they would be very action intensive, resources being things like in-between artists, colors, and some of their best animation staff. You really get to see how genius Garo is in this episode throughout the fight with the hero army, as he starts using all of the heroes' weapons against each other, and he starts using their weaknesses to the fullest potential. After he has a flashback of himself as a kid where he's talking about, rooting for a crab demon, for a monster, and the other kids can't believe it, he changes his breathing and he starts to use Silver Fang's Fist of Flowing Water Crushed Rock technique, and with that, he's able to turn the tides. Not only using Silver Fang's technique, which he doesn't like to use, but he will use it in desperate situations, but he's also using the hero army's weapons against them. Garo is incredibly tactile, strategic, and intelligent, and he figures out ways that he can crush the fortification of this 8-man hero army, which, they have a combination of long range, short range, and close range fighters, making it very difficult for him to even move around and attack any of them. But he figures out ways that he can pretty much destroy the fortification, use them as meat shields and things. It was great. I mean, this was, I think, the one episode out of the whole season that I'm going to rewatch a few times. It's pure action, it's great artwork, the soundtrack was awesome, and the voice actors just did a fantastic job at promoting the desperation out of these heroes as they start getting slaughtered by Garo. And even Garo's voice actor is legendary as well. It's almost as if these characters are playing a game of chess, because Garo is baiting them, he's outsmarting them, and he's using them against themselves. And it really shows why Garo is such a strong fighter, regardless of his ability to use Silverfang's technique and just martial arts in general, but he's just a brilliant strategist, and they really displayed that here. This one picture though, oh man, they definitely ruined that from the manga. The picture in the manga is so much better, but for the most part, they did an absolutely incredible job with the artwork in this episode and really just, I think, nailed just about everything. I'd rate this episode like a 9 out of 10. Death Gatling's death shower was very, very cool and seemed devastating. It was awesome to see Garo literally just deflect all those chain gun bullets with his bare hands, which I talked about in a video a couple days ago. You know, he's bloodied after it, but he's able to use the Fist of Flowing Water Crushed Rock technique. He's able to protect the child, and he knows that since he read the handbook, that Death Gatling uses every single bullet he has left for that death shower technique. And that was a huge triumphant moment for Garo to see if he was able to basically stop bullets, to prove that guns couldn't kill him. And Death Gatling gives this very valiant speech. He pulls out this blade. It's a really cool scene, but yeah, it gets completely crushed by Garo. And this is a repeating kind of theme that you see out of the heroes. They're all valiant, and you know, they give this huge heroic speech, and then they just get punched into oblivion or destroyed by a monster. But you see this also from the monsters as well, because whenever they're talking to Saitama, they think they're like the strongest monster, the king of the sea, blah blah blah, and then they all get one punched as well. Very common thing out of One Punch Man. And with that, as Garo has defeated the hero army, Genos finally arrives, and this fight was animated great. They really did Genos justice here. I mean, this was so exciting to watch. Garo versus Genos was so fun, because I feel like these characters are pretty similar in power. They're very, very close. Now, Garo is very weakened at this point, but he's still able to put up a really good fight. And you see that Genos just keeps getting stronger. He's using more of like tactics. He allows Garo to hit him into the ground so that it'll create an opening. And all around this battle is just very back and forth, which makes it incredibly exciting. And, you know, they continue to do these great animations of Genos as they have done throughout the entire season, and Garo as well. Perhaps my favorite part of the entire episode is when Genos gets up from the ground. I love that. They really pulled that off from the manga. In fact, I think they did it even better than the manga here. In a lot of cases, these animations, they did it better than the manga. And that's really, really great to see, because that's been a huge problem so far from season 2 of One Punch Man, is that many times they're just not doing the manga justice. Well, I'll tell you what they did do justice. They made Genos look like a total beast in this episode, and Garo, obviously, but you're really rooting for like both of these characters right now. Garo tries to change it up. He mimics Watchdog Man's techniques and movements so Watchdog Man actually beat him earlier. Garo couldn't fight him because his fighting style was so untraditional, and you see that Garo is also like, you know, Sasuke in a sense. Like, he's able to copy techniques just from seeing them once. Like, this dude is raw genius. He rips off Genos' arm, and he thinks that he's successful in destroying a piece of Genos, but oh no, that arm turns around and grabs him by the throat and then rockets him into a tree, in which these cables come out and tie him down to the tree. And it's looking really bad for Garo at this point. You think, oh, maybe he's finally done, but no, the dude just with overwhelming power just breaks the tree, just pushes off, breaks it, and dodges Genos' blast. And with that, he starts to get up, and you see his eye here is red. And, you know, at first I thought it was just bloodshot when I read the manga, but this is the beginning of his transformation. I'm not really sure why they chose the coloring choice of the red eye and the reddish orangish hair. I think it looks pretty cool, but again, I think they should have flipped it so it was the opposite, but that's just my own opinion. Great artwork here with 3 gradients of shading. Love that shot. They made really effective use of shapes and kind of like the polygons of his face. And then Master Bang comes in with the heat and kicks Garo. You really felt the pain out of that kick, as well as his brother Bomb also comes in. As you know, they've been looking for Garo. They've been hunting him down. They figure it's their duty to put an end to him. And Bomb is just as strong as Silverfang. Garo hates his old master Silverfang, and even though he's pushed into a corner, even though he's really desperate, he is going to fight. Now with his new form, we're gonna see Fist of Flowing Water Crushed Rock versus Fist of Flowing Water Crushed Rock. And they will fight in the next episode. Let me get into a little bit of spoiler territory. Pretty much what's gonna happen is they're gonna fight, and Silverfang is just gonna kick the living snot out of Garo. Like Garo is going to get completely slaughtered before the Monster Association finally interrupts and saves Garo and takes him away. And that's when you're going to have the final battle of the season, the final boss, which is Elder Centipede versus Bang, Bomb, and Genos. That is going to be incredible. I can't wait for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you to all my patrons who support me on Patreon, helping me with Anime War and Demon Rush. Your patronage goes a very, very long way into helping me. You guys are the absolute best. And I'm going to be doing a video very, very soon in the next few days talking about all of the transformations of God Garo. Make sure you don't miss that when it comes out. Owarida!